Taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical well-being is a cornerstone of self-love. It is an active process that involves prioritizing your needs, understanding your boundaries, and cultivating habits that nurture your overall health. In a world where we often prioritize productivity and external demands over our personal well-being, this practice requires intentionality and commitment. It's not selfish, but rather a vital part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. The mental aspect of self-care begins with creating space for your thoughts and emotions. This means acknowledging and processing your feelings rather than suppressing them. Too often, people are conditioned to push through challenges without giving themselves the time to reflect on what they're experiencing internally. Suppressing emotions may work temporarily, but over time it leads to mental fatigue and emotional strain. Taking care of your mind involves recognizing when you need a break, allowing yourself time to rest, and seeking moments of clarity to understand your feelings. Practices like mindfulness and meditation are incredibly effective for mental self-care. They provide an opportunity to pause, breathe, and center yourself amid life's chaos. Mindfulness is not about eliminating thoughts, but rather about observing them without judgment. When you practice mindfulness regularly, you become more attuned to your inner world and better equipped to respond to life's challenges with a calm and focused mind. Meditation, even for just a few minutes a day, can help you reduce stress, improve concentration, and build resilience against anxiety. Journaling is another valuable tool for mental well-being. Writing down your thoughts and feelings helps you gain clarity and process your experiences. It creates a safe space where you can explore your fears, dreams, and desires without the pressure of judgment. Journaling also allows you to track patterns in your emotions and behaviors, helping you identify triggers in areas of your life that may need adjustment. This simple act of putting pen to paper can be profoundly therapeutic and empowering. Caring for your emotional well-being is equally crucial. Emotional self-care involves understanding your feelings, setting boundaries, and practicing self-compassion. It starts with recognizing that all emotions, even the difficult ones, are valid and worth acknowledging. Rather than labeling certain feelings as bad or wrong, self-love invites you to approach them with curiosity and understanding. By doing so, you can learn more about yourself and what you need to feel supported and fulfilled. Setting boundaries is a fundamental aspect of emotional self-care. It's about recognizing your limits and communicating them to others clearly and respectfully. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, but rather about protecting your energy and prioritizing your needs. For example, if you find that certain relationships leave you feeling drained or unappreciated, setting limits on your time and energy in those interactions is an act of self-love. It allows you to focus on connections that uplift and nurture you rather than those that deplete your emotional reserves. Emotional well-being also involves practicing self-compassion. This means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend. When you make a mistake or face a setback, it's easy to fall into a pattern of self-criticism. However, self-compassion encourages you to acknowledge your humanity and extend grace to yourself. Instead of saying, "I should have done better," try telling yourself, "I did the best I could with the knowledge and resources I had at the time." This shift in perspective helps you build a healthier relationship with yourself and fosters emotional resilience. Physical well-being is an essential part of self-care that cannot be overlooked. Taking care of your body is not just about aesthetics or achieving fitness goals. It's about honoring the vessel that carries you through life. Proper nutrition, regular exercise, and adequate rest are the pillars of physical self-care. Eating balanced, nourishing meals fuels your body and mind, giving you the energy to pursue your passions and handle daily responsibilities. It's not about restrictive diets or punishing yourself for indulging, but about making choices that make you feel strong and vibrant. Exercise is another vital component of physical well-being. Movement doesn't have to be rigorous or time-consuming to be effective. Whether it's a daily walk, yoga session, or dance class, the goal is to find activities that bring you joy and make you feel alive. Regular exercise not only strengthens your body, but also releases endorphins, which are natural mood boosters. It reduces stress, improves sleep, and enhances your overall sense of well-being. Rest is equally important in taking care of your physical health. In a culture that often glorifies hustle and overwork, giving yourself permission to rest can feel revolutionary. Sleep is essential for your body to repair itself, process emotions, and maintain optimal functioning. Skipping sleep or neglecting rest periods during the day may seem productive in the short term, but it ultimately takes a toll on your physical and mental health. Prioritizing rest is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful way to show your self-love and respect. Beyond these fundamental aspects of mental, emotional, and physical care, self-love involves embracing practices that bring you joy and fulfillment. This might mean carving out time for hobbies, spending time in nature, or engaging in creative pursuits. It could involve surrounding yourself with positive influences, whether that's uplifting books, inspiring podcasts, or supportive communities. The goal is to cultivate an environment that nurtures your spirit and aligns with your values. Taking care of your well-being also means seeking support when needed. Asking for help is not a sign of failure, but an act of courage and self-respect. Whether it's talking to a trusted friend, seeking therapy, or joining a support group, reaching out for help is a reminder that you don't have to face life's challenges alone. It's an acknowledgement of your worth and a commitment to taking care of yourself in the best way possible. In nurturing your mental, emotional, and physical well-being, you create a foundation for self-love that allows you to show up fully in your life. It's not a one-time act, but an ongoing journey of learning, growth, and compassion. By making your well-being a priority, you honor the unique and irreplaceable person that you are, reminding yourself every day that you are worthy of care, love, and respect. Recognizing your intrinsic value is a profound and transformative act of self-love. At its core, this means understanding that your worth is not contingent on external achievements, validations, or comparisons. It is an unwavering acknowledgement of your innate significance simply because you exist. In a world often driven by performance, competition, and societal expectations, embracing your intrinsic value requires a conscious shift in perspective, one that moves away from seeking worth outside yourself to finding it within. This understanding begins with the realization that every individual is inherently worthy. You do not need to earn your value, it is already present. From the moment of your existence, you carry a unique combination of qualities, experiences, and potential that no one else can replicate. This uniqueness is not a standard to be measured against, but a reflection of the vast diversity of human existence. Embracing your intrinsic value means appreciating this individuality and resisting the urge to define yourself by external markers such as career success, physical appearance, or social status. One of the most common barriers to recognizing intrinsic value is the habit of comparison. From a young age, many people are conditioned to measure themselves against others, whether in academics, physical attributes, or professional achievements. This tendency to compare creates a sense of competition, where self-worth becomes tied to outperforming others. However, this mindset overlooks the simple truth that everyone is on their own unique journey with different strengths, challenges, and timelines. When you compare yourself to others, you diminish your individuality and lose sight of the value you inherently possess. Shifting your focus inward and celebrating your unique qualities is a powerful way to honor your intrinsic worth. Another obstacle is the tendency to tie self-worth to external accomplishments or the validation of others. While achievements and recognition can bring a sense of satisfaction, they are not the source of your value. They are simply outcomes of your efforts and skills, which do not define who you are at your core. When you base your worth on external factors, you risk feeling inadequate or unworthy during moments of failure or rejection. Recognizing your intrinsic value allows you to separate your sense of self from transient successes or setbacks. You come to understand that your worth remains constant, regardless of external circumstances. To embrace your intrinsic value, self-awareness is essential. This involves taking time to reflect on who you are beyond your roles, achievements, or societal labels. It means asking yourself questions like, what qualities make me unique? And what brings me joy, meaning, or fulfillment? By exploring these aspects of yourself, you begin to see your value as rooted in your essence rather than in what you do or achieve. This self-awareness fosters a deeper connection with yourself, allowing you to honor your feelings, desires, and needs without judgment. Practicing self-acceptance is a vital step in recognizing your intrinsic worth. This means embracing yourself as you are, with all your strengths and imperfections. It involves letting go of the idea that you must be flawless or meet certain standards to be deserving of love and respect. Self-acceptance is not about complacency or avoiding growth. Rather, it is about acknowledging your humanity and treating yourself with kindness as you navigate life's complexities. When you accept yourself fully, you create a foundation of self-love that empowers you to grow and thrive without the burden of unrealistic expectations. Affirming your intrinsic value often requires challenging negative beliefs or internalized messages that suggest otherwise. Many people carry self-critical thoughts or limiting beliefs formed by past experiences, societal pressures, or cultural norms. These beliefs can create a sense of unworthiness or inadequacy that undermines self-love. To counteract this, it's important to identify and challenge these thoughts actively. Replacing self-critical narratives with affirmations such as "I am enough, I deserve love and respect," or "my value is inherent" can gradually shift your mindset and reinforce your belief in your intrinsic worth. Another way to honor your intrinsic value is by nurturing self-compassion. This means treating yourself with the same care and understanding that you would offer to a loved one. When you make a mistake or face a challenge, self-compassion invites you to respond with gentleness rather than harsh criticism. It acknowledges that imperfection is part of being human, and that your worth is not diminished by your struggles or shortcomings. Cultivating self-compassion helps you build a supportive and loving relationship with yourself, reinforcing the idea that you are deserving of kindness simply because you are. Recognizing your intrinsic value also involves setting boundaries and prioritizing your well-being. When you understand your worth, you are more likely to protect your time, energy, and emotional health. This means saying no to situations or relationships that deplete you and yes to those that uplift and nurture you. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect that communicates to yourself and others that your needs and feelings matter. It reinforces the idea that you deserve to be treated with dignity and care, both by yourself and by others.
Understanding that detachment is a necessary form of self-care is crucial for maintaining emotional well-being and overall life balance. When life becomes overwhelming, or when we feel constantly entangled in the emotions or demands of others, detachment offers us a much-needed break, a chance to reconnect with ourselves, recharge, and regain clarity. It is not an act of withdrawal or avoidance, but a conscious choice to prioritize one's own emotional health and integrity. By practicing detachment, we create a space for ourselves to pause, reflect, and act in alignment with our true needs rather than the expectations of others. At its core, detachment as self-care involves the recognition that we are not obligated to give our emotional energy to every situation or person that demands it. It means understanding that, while it is important to be empathetic and supportive, we must also safeguard our energy and emotional resources. Without this recognition, we risk burning out, feeling depleted, or losing ourselves in the process of constantly giving to others. Detaching is a way to reestablish boundaries and remind ourselves that our emotional well-being is just as important as anyone else's. It is a reminder that we cannot pour from an empty cup, and that to continue caring for others, we must first care for ourselves. When we choose detachment as a form of self-care, we are essentially setting a limit on how much emotional energy we are willing to invest in a particular situation. This is not about being cold or indifferent, but rather about being aware of how much emotional energy we have available to give. By acknowledging our limits, we protect ourselves from becoming overwhelmed by the emotions, problems, or demands of others. We also give ourselves permission to take a step back when things become too much. This act of stepping back can help to prevent emotional burnout, anxiety, and stress. It allows us to regain our equilibrium and ensure that we are not sacrificing our own peace of mind for the sake of others. The act of detachment also creates space for personal reflection. When we remove ourselves from emotionally charged situations or environments, we allow ourselves the time and mental clarity needed to reflect on our own thoughts and feelings. We gain the ability to view things from a different perspective, which helps us make more informed and conscious decisions. Detachment gives us a chance to evaluate whether the situations we are involved in are serving our greater good or draining us of our energy. It also helps us recognize patterns in our relationships and behaviors, enabling us to make healthier choices moving forward. This process of self-reflection is vital for personal growth as it empowers us to be more intentional with how we invest our time, energy, and emotions. Another significant aspect of detachment as self-care is the ability to detach from outcomes. Often we find ourselves emotionally invested in how situations or people will turn out. Whether it's the outcome of a relationship, a work project, or a personal goal, we tend to invest a great deal of emotional energy into the results. While it is natural to care about the outcome, detaching from the need for a specific result can alleviate much of the anxiety and pressure that we place on ourselves. By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, we free ourselves from the stress of trying to control every aspect of our lives. Detachment, in this case, becomes an act of trust and surrender. It allows us to let go of expectations and embrace the flow of life without the fear of failure or disappointment. This act of surrendering the need for a particular outcome also helps to reduce feelings of frustration because we are no longer attached to a fixed vision of how things should unfold. Detachment as self-care also plays a key role in promoting emotional resilience. Life will inevitably present challenges, difficult emotions, and uncomfortable situations. However, when we practice detachment, we cultivate the ability to navigate these challenges with a sense of inner strength and balance. Detachment allows us to observe difficult situations without becoming consumed by them. We are able to experience the emotions that arise, but do not let them dictate our actions or our sense of self. This emotional resilience is built through the practice of detaching from negative thoughts, toxic relationships, and emotional drama. It is about developing the ability to separate yourself from external circumstances and take a step back to regain control over your emotional responses. When we detach, we are also able to identify and release unhealthy attachments that may be causing us harm. These attachments can take many forms, such as toxic relationships, unhealthy habits, or excessive attachment to material outcomes. Detachment gives us the freedom to release these attachments and let go of what no longer serves us. This is an act of liberation, as it enables us to move forward with a lighter, freer emotional state. Releasing unhealthy attachments allows us to focus on what truly matters in our lives, our personal growth, our happiness, and our well-being. By practicing detachment, we become more selective about where we invest our time and energy, ensuring that we are aligned with people, situations, and environments that nourish us rather than drain us. Detachment also teaches us the art of emotional regulation. It allows us to acknowledge our emotions without being overwhelmed by them. In situations where we may feel anger, sadness, or frustration, detachment enables us to observe these emotions without becoming lost in them. We learn that our emotions are temporary and that we do not need to act on them impulsively. This emotional regulation is vital for making thoughtful, rational decisions in moments of emotional distress. Instead of reacting impulsively to difficult emotions, detachment allows us to pause, breathe, and choose how we want to respond. This skill of emotional regulation enhances our emotional intelligence and overall ability to navigate life's challenges with composure and clarity. Furthermore, detachment can lead to greater self-compassion. When we practice detachment, we acknowledge that we are deserving of space and time to care for ourselves. We understand that it is okay to take breaks from the world and focus on our own needs. Detachment fosters an attitude of kindness toward ourselves, allowing us to treat ourselves with the same compassion that we often extend to others. By practicing self-compassion, we are able to heal from emotional wounds, soothe our anxieties, and nurture our well-being. This practice of self-care through detachment is an ongoing commitment to ourselves, ensuring that we are always tending to our emotional health and growth. In conclusion, detachment as self-care is a powerful and essential practice for maintaining emotional well-being, creating healthy boundaries, and fostering personal growth. It allows us to step back, evaluate our emotional state, and make choices that align with our true needs and values. By practicing detachment, we create the space needed to recharge, reflect, and release what no longer serves us. This act of self-care is a vital tool for navigating life's challenges with resilience and clarity. It empowers us to protect our emotional resources, prioritize our well-being, and cultivate healthier, more fulfilling relationships with ourselves and others. Detaching from emotional manipulation or unhealthy attachments is a crucial skill that empowers individuals to protect their mental health, well-being, and sense of self. In many relationships, whether they be personal, familial, or professional, we often find ourselves entangled in dynamics that do not serve our highest good. These situations can leave us feeling drained, confused, and powerless. Emotional manipulation, in particular, can be subtle, making it difficult to recognize and even harder to break free from. Detaching from these kinds of relationships is not only essential for emotional self-preservation, but also for regaining a sense of personal strength and clarity. It is an act of self-respect and a decision to prioritize your emotional health above all else. Emotional manipulation is often disguised as care, concern, or love, but it is, in fact, a means of control. Manipulators seek to influence your emotions, decisions, or behaviors in ways that benefit their own needs or desires. They may use guilt, fear, shame, or other forms of emotional pressure to maintain their hold over you. Recognizing emotional manipulation can be difficult because the tactics used are often subtle and incremental. They may start with small requests, like asking for a favor or seeking reassurance, but over time, they can escalate into larger demands, creating a sense of obligation or dependency. The manipulator may make you feel responsible for their happiness or imply that your worth is tied to how much you give or sacrifice for them. In these situations, detaching becomes a way of reclaiming your personal power. The first step in detachment is recognizing that you are not responsible for another person's emotional state or happiness. Emotional manipulators often try to make you feel guilty for asserting your own needs or setting boundaries. They may tell you that you are selfish or uncaring for not prioritizing their demands. This guilt trip is designed to make you doubt your own judgment and self-worth. Detaching from such emotional manipulation involves acknowledging that you have the right to take care of yourself and make decisions that are in your best interest. You are not obligated to sacrifice your well-being to meet someone else's emotional needs. Another important aspect of detaching from emotional manipulation is understanding the dynamics of unhealthy attachments. We can form attachments to people, situations, or even ideas that ultimately harm us. These attachments can become toxic over time, leading to patterns of behavior that are not in alignment with our values or goals. For example, we may become attached to the idea of pleasing others or constantly seeking validation, which can result in a cycle of people-pleasing behavior. Alternatively, we may form attachments to people who drain our energy or undermine our confidence, preventing us from growing or moving forward in life. Detaching from unhealthy attachments requires a conscious decision to let go of what is no longer serving us. This process can be difficult as attachments are often rooted in deep emotional needs or fears, such as the fear of rejection, loneliness, or not being good enough. However, breaking free from these attachments is essential for personal growth and emotional well-being. Detaching involves creating the emotional distance needed to see a situation clearly and to evaluate whether it is truly beneficial to our lives. It requires courage to let go of relationships or behaviors that no longer align with our values and to choose to invest in those that nurture our emotional health. One of the key challenges in detaching from emotional manipulation or unhealthy attachments is the fear of conflict or confrontation. Many people fear that by setting boundaries or detaching, they will cause tension or upset others. This fear often keeps individuals stuck in relationships or situations that are not serving them, as they feel that they must keep the peace at any cost. However, detaching does not necessarily mean cutting people out of your life entirely. It is more about redefining the relationship in a way that is healthy for you. Setting clear boundaries, expressing your needs, and asserting your right to emotional autonomy can all be done without resorting to confrontation or hostility. In fact, doing so in a calm and assertive manner can help to foster mutual respect and understanding. Detaching from emotional manipulation also requires building self-awareness and emotional resilience. When we are emotionally manipulated, it is often because we are unaware of the manipulative tactics being used or because we lack the emotional tools to recognize and resist them. By increasing our emotional intelligence and self-awareness, we become more attuned to the subtle dynamics at play in our relationships.